You're wondering where it's at, your inner peace. Like, where is it at? After all these storms you've been through, it's been a hot minute, and you're ready for clarity. You're ready for peace. You're ready for calm. Today, we're going to work with the maiden, mother, and crone archetypes to find out where is it and how can we get there. Okay? This is your friendly reminder that if you're catching the replay, you can 2x your speed or click the timestamps below to jump straight to the message. Before we start, I'm going to let you know about the energies I was dealing with this morning. This is going to be a longer intro. And it's really funny because at first, my day started out kind of hectic and I was like, oh man, I'm not having any signs. I'm not in touch with spirit at all. But then I have a 30-minute commute to the office, and probably the last 20 minutes, I kind of just took a couple of breaths and things just started flowing in so fast. So the first thing that I noticed, well, actually I didn't notice it. The idea of pressure is a privilege came through. And around that same time, I got a bunch of other words that start with P. So the letter P may be significant. Maybe your name starts with P. Might be a Paul, Peter, Pamela, Patricia. Those are just a few that are coming through. The other words with P's, park. So maybe you're going to the park, spending more time in nature. Purpose, pain, passion, play, and then pleasure. Pleasure just came through as soon as I said pain. But when I got to the office, I knew I had heard that concept of pressure being a privilege from someone. And so I thought it was Robin Sharma, the author of the 5 a.m. Club. And I just Googled it just to make sure. And he is the one that talks about this. But when I looked it up, I wanted to be able to talk about that energy a little bit more for you guys. And if we don't have inner peace, a lot of times it is because of the pressure that we're going through in our lives. So one thing that Robin Sharma talks about when it comes to this concept of pressure being a privilege is that, and there's a lot of more P words that came through when I looked this up, so it was so cool, that pressure is not punishment, P word, but rather it is proof, another P word, that you're entrusted with responsibility, that you have a period of growth in your life, and another P word, it's a chance for you to perform in the arena of wherever this pressure's coming in. You know, there's lots of talk about how you don't let people that are not in the arena, that aren't playing the game, criticize you or influence you or have sway over you, right? But this pressure is proof that you are in the game. You are in the game of life. You are in the game of expansion. You are playing the soul's game of experience, right? And so what Robin says is that pressure doesn't break people. What breaks people is lack of, another P word, proper recovery. And so for me, that inner peace is a great way to recover from the pressures of the day, whether that's handling your family, handling your finances, dealing with a really crazy project at work, or any other unexpected. I just got health issues. So maybe somebody in your family, a family member is having some health issues. That pressure, okay, it's proof that you're expanding, right? That your capacity to hold these challenges is expanding. Now, another thing that Robin talks about when it comes to this concept is how this builds strength and resilience, right? I love that. It builds strength and resilience. And he compared it to like working out. So if you're exercising and you're building muscle. But one thing that came through with that concept for me was when you're exercising, if you're not having proper recovery, when you're exercising, you're going to build up all that lactic acid and it's going to get released into your system. And if you don't, hydrate, if you don't take salt baths, if you don't use heat and ice and do all the proper ways to recover, that lactic acid is going to be really painful. So again, back to this idea of proper recovery. Pressure isn't the problem. Exercising isn't the problem. Recovery afterward, right? We have to invest in ourselves and spend time taking care of ourselves to really tap into the full growth opportunity that pressure brings. Okay. Another thing that happened when I was almost at the office, I got some really sharp pain in my left ear. Now, the left side is all about the feminine side and spirituality. So like think about the subconscious, emotions. And when I looked it up, when I got to the office to see what it represents, it represents unresolved emotional tension, boundary issues, or resistance to listening to your own inner voice. Okay. Now, when that came out, it automatically reminded me of yesterday's reading. So I'm going to definitely link that in the replay for anybody. Excuse me. And then I'll also mention why in a few minutes when I talk about the cards that came out. And then another sign that came through was Indian motorcycles and the smell of fresh laid asphalt. Now, the asphalt came through a couple of readings ago, and I forgot to mention it. So if you watched something recently and it really resonated with you, and then that is something that's a sign for you, this message is probably going to be really important too, okay? Now, when I was working with the cards, as in the thumbnail, we got the Two of Cups from the Maiden, we got the Nine of Cups from the Mother, and then the Page of Cups from the Crone. So yesterday was working exclusively with the Crone, and she actually gave us the Page of Cups, or not Page of Cups, Page of Pentacles. That actually came through in the reading, and it was all about can I say the word? Being able to receive. Not reciprocity. Receptivity. That's the one. So that's why I think yesterday's reading could be really significant for somebody. And then another thing, when I was working with these cards, I always take out the old ones because we use these at the very end. And I like to give us fresh things. But this establishing energetic boundaries popped out. I don't know if it's what we'll get, but boundaries was something we talked about as part of this left ear pain, which it went away as soon as I looked up the symptoms. So I know it's related to this reading. So maybe boundary work is going to be really important for somebody right now. All right, I think that's everything. Whew, sorry, guys. I told you it was going to be a long one for this today. Let's breathe. Let's breathe, shall we? In my live streams, I always do breath work because it helps me ground into the space, get connected, right? Get connected to the message. And it's a great opportunity for you. Right? We are so much in this go, 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 take, right? Type of energy all day long. And breathing is a way for you to get in the now. Be present now. Okay? So we'll do box breathing in for 4, holding for 4, breathing out for 4, and holding for 4. We'll do 3 rounds of this breath. You ready? Let's begin. Very nice. One other thing I forgot to mention was if anybody is carrying any tension in their neck, this is the release. This is the reading to release that, okay? Set your intention that during this reading, you're going to release all the tension. That's all I got to say for that. All right, let's not waste any more time. Let's go ahead and get into this message. The way this will work is we will pull probably 3 cards from each of the archetypes, the Maiden, the Mother, and the Crone. I'll read those messages, and at the very end, we will grab a card from this Vagus Nerve deck. Again, it helps us ground the message into our body, regulate our nervous system, helps us be better humans. So that's why I use those. And then at the very end of that, if anybody would like a personal reading, I will take those at that time. If you can't stay, you can always put your question in the chat, and I will answer it at the end, and you can catch it in the replay. All right, Maiden, where is this collective's inner peace? Where's it at? What is preventing them from experiencing this recovery that they need? They have been through the pressure. They have been through the pain. They're ready for some pleasure. They're ready for some peace. Another P word, peace. Guidance, please, Maiden. Thank you, Maiden. Got the 4 of Wands on the bottom of the deck. How lovely. Let's see if I'm going to have room. I keep changing things up in here, and it was a bit of a mess earlier. All right, the first card she gave us is the Nine of Wands. Go. Followed by the Five of Swords. And the King of Cups. Thank you, Maiden. Now we're going to work with the Mother. Mother, for this collective, where is their inner peace at? They're ready for it. They are tired of the pressure. They want to recover properly. Where is it at? Guidance, please. Thank you. 1, 2 more, please. Oh my gosh. Well, this is the one and this is the one. All the cards just tumbled out. The Mother wants to help today. And we have the Tower on the bottom of the deck with the Mighty Oak. Okay. This card kept popping out and I didn't say it, but again, the Five of Wands was in yesterday's reading. So yesterday's reading could be really significant. We got the Five of Wands with the Redwood Challenge. We have the Emperor with Borghild or Wraith. I think that's right. She is like this intense warrior goddess. I mean, she's not a goddess. I don't think she's just a chieftain, but it's a cool story. And then the Four of Wands again. Ah, look at that. Four of Wands from the Mother. And then it was on the bottom of the deck from the Maiden. So we got this twice. Okay. Thank you so much, Mother. All right, now we're going to work with the Crone. You guys don't ever get to see this deck. Look how pretty that is. There we go. I get to see it. A little reflection. Crone. For this collective, they would like to know, where is their inner peace at? They're tired of the pain. They're tired of the pressure. Thank you. She was ready, guys. Her cards were like, right here, here I am. You want that one, not that one. Thank you. Oh, we got the Tower again on the bottom of the deck. Okay, look at that. There's so much repetition in this reading. Bottom of the deck energy from the Mother and from the Crone. We've got Dionysus on the bottom underneath that. Page of Cups. The Nine of Cups. And the Ten of Wands. Okay. Let's see if I can get all these up here so I can see them all. So we'll start with the message from the Maiden. All right. So yeah, you guys are ready for peace because this has been a long time coming. With the Nine of Wands, this is definitely wounded warrior energy, where you have had to stand your ground even in the pain, even in all of the I'm getting overwhelmed, lack of clarity. I just got head injury for some reason. Like, did you recently have a concussion? I hope you are taking care of yourself. Please take care of yourself. And again, even more pain with this. Oh, this always happens. I can't pick the cards up. Five of Swords. So this is winning and losing. And I'm feeling like maybe you have won some things recently, but it's not like things you wanted to win, right? So maybe you are right about something, some type of situation in a friend group or with a partner, but you didn't want to be right about it. You didn't want to win the argument. That wasn't your intention, right? You wanted peace. You wanted clarity. And so obviously there's some dissatisfied parties there. But I feel like this interaction is a great opportunity, yeah, for you guys to come together in a Four of Wands energy, where you're returning back to the truth of being committed to each other, being committed to working out things in a way that's beneficial for all. You know, that can be very hard whenever you are going through pressure. Oh, it can be so hard to have a very give and take kind of mindset. That I'm thinking of the Six of Pentacles now with, you know, equal give and take. But when you're coming home to yourself, when you're coming home to a strong, steady foundation, this is the 1111 card, manifestation, you know. With the King of Cups being the last card from the Maiden, this is all about emotions, right? That was what came through earlier. Oh, I closed my notebook. Dadgummit. Emotions. Not dealing with, unresolved emotional tension. Resistance to listening to your inner voice. But if we look at the King of Cups is, he honors emotions, right? He honors emotions. He sees them for what they are. They're messages. They're messengers, like telling you information. It's like a data point. You're gathering information from this certain point in time, right? And how your body feels safe, on how your nervous system feels in this moment. But emotionally, he knows that they're going to pass. Emotions aren't always the same. Emotions change with the seasons. They change with the tide. They, especially if you're a woman, they change with your hormones. But he doesn't let those emotions dictate his choices, right? He allows those emotions to be there. They have a place. He's a human. But he has mastered them in a way that allows him to use them as a signpost, but not as the ruling, the letter of the law, right? They can lead us into that inner guidance where we can say, okay, I'm feeling this thing. I need to explore why I'm feeling this thing. I'm being led to tell you guys about Joe Hudson. If you haven't checked out his work, it's phenomenal. He really helps break down complex emotional situations. And if you watch his live coaching, it's so good. He asks really hard questions and challenges people, but his work is so, so good. Now, if we move on to the message from the mother, I really want to read this 5 of Wands card because it popped out so much earlier. Let's see. Pentacles, Wands. Okay. So the 5 of Wands says, in the arena of life's drama. We were talking about the arena earlier when I was explaining Robin Sharma's whole idea of pressure being a privilege and how it's proof that you are having the opportunity to perform in the arena, right? Love it. I love it. Okay. Competition fuels the fires of ambition and creative conflict. Embrace struggle as an opportunity, turning chaos into focused energy. Okay, so let's look at the narrative for this. Oh, these names. Okay. It says, Ara and Quell, born of fire's essence, step forth as luminaries seeking more than just mastery with the bow. Their journey takes them across the ancient primordial landscape of bone, stone, and earth flesh, a path carved by determination and an unquenchable desire to be tested. Fire thrives in the heart of competition, and they find their true calling in the face of challenges. Ooh, that's beautiful. Their pursuit is not merely a display of skill. It's a testament to the enduring human spirit, a reminder that the pursuit of excellence is a lifelong journey. Yeah, that's not something you get overnight. You don't become a master in a matter of minutes. With every drawn bowstring, they ignite a spark of inspiration, reminding us that within the trials of a competition lies the forge of human potential. Wow, what were we talking about? There's another P word, potential. All right, here's some prompts for you to go with this. In what ways do you experience competition in your life? How do you navigate competitive environments? How do you respond to chaotic situations? We were talking about chaos at the beginning of that. What are your greatest strengths? Oh, that's lovely. And I'm going to save this so we can read the 4 of Wands too, because I wanted to read it. Yeah. Okay. So I told you, being in the arena, being able to perform and compete. How beautiful is that? So like what I'm hearing from the mother is, yes, you want peace, you want inner peace, you want to have this calm. But unfortunately, right now, sorry to be the bearer of bad news, you're in the tower energy, you're in the chaos, you're in the upheaval and this destruction phase, right? So that you can rebuild, so you can recover, so you can have your time in the hammock, resting in the breeze, sipping on your pina colada, right? Now, through this period of challenge, through this period of performance where you're going to have to perform under pressure, the next card she's given us is the Emperor. So the Emperor is very much a fatherly figure, right? If you think of stern authority, being very structured and having organization and being able to do things in a methodical and very respected way, like lots of respect comes through for the Emperor. But in particular, this card has a chieftain, but she's like a female chieftain. And she carried so much, like, part of this card talks about like tying back into the old ways, honoring the old ways. And so maybe there is a part of your life where you've really forsaken more traditional ways of doing things. And Spirit's giving you a gentle nudge, be like, hey, look, you can still do things the old way. You don't have to do everything the new way. That's okay. Especially if things like, if, yeah, okay. So what I just got is whatever you're trying to do that's new and it's causing so much pressure, especially if this is in work and you're trying to like implement new systems. What I'm hearing is if it's causing more pain than like profit or payout or making things smoother, because you are in this tower energy, this is not the time to be doing that. You need to go back to the old ways. You need to go back to the stable ways, the ways that worked previously. If this has to do with a relationship, if you previously like texted each other every day and then you guys try to do phone calls and now you're missing each other's phone calls and not talking at all, go back to what worked before. Do what previously worked, right? Because in this chaos energy, you need to find the stability. You need to be the stability, right? This pressure is going to continue. Life is pressure. And in that pressure, we're going to go back to this Four of Wands, right? This is the last card we got from the Mother, and it was at the bottom of the deck from the Maiden. So we're going to go ahead and read this. But again, we were talking about how you have to have proper recovery, right? So let's see if this talks about what kind of recovery we need. In life's grand melody, harmony conducts the celebration of completion, yielding the sweet fruit of prosperity. Oh man, I forgot to mention numbers. Shoot. I didn't mention my numbers there at the top. Can you see that? Oh, it's such a mess. I had 15 that I saw and 15, 15. And so when I was looking at those numbers, I was like, okay, well, 15 breaks down to 6, which reminds me of the Lovers. And then I looked up what that meant in the 6 energy. So I was thinking 6 of Cups, 6 of Pentacles, 6 of Swords, 6 of Wands is all like very positive energy. And so when I got back and I was looking it up, I heard harmony, or I saw harmony, choices, and alignment of values. Sorry, I forgot to mention that, but it ties into that. Harmony conducts the celebration of completion, right? 6 energy, celebration, recognition, moving to calmer waters, getting out of this tower energy and being able to celebrate with the Four of Wands. Again, sorry, ADHD. I can't believe I missed that. It was written down on my paper and I did not say it. Sorry, guys. Okay. See, we're going to read the narrative for this one. Put my pen down. In a rite as old as time, the matriarch of the bloodline weaves botanicals into the crown of the maiden. Oh my gosh, we're working with the Mother and we had the Maiden earlier and they both gave us this card. Oh, isn't that so beautiful? This is a moment of blessing, of celebration, and its acknowledgement that through refined acts of love and honor. That doesn't make sense. Let me read that again. This is a moment of blessing, of celebration, and its acknowledgement through refined acts of love and honor. There, that makes more sense. The matriarch knows this blessing all too well, for she too had received such a blessing in her maiden years. It was the most joyous occasion, where tribes from all over came together to celebrate and rejoice. Great alliances were made that proved the foundation of fortune and the cementing of a legacy of sovereignty for the tribe. The matriarch gently and thoughtfully braids each botanical into her granddaughter's hair. She fastens it with a prosperous blessing so that her granddaughter may excel in life and claim her sovereignty when the time calls for it. Wow, that's beautiful. That's so beautiful. I want to read this real quick. Yeah, okay, so I'm just getting celebration is what I'm hearing over and over. Celebration, celebration. And another thing that came through when I was reading that is the idea of having allies, with the other tribes is what it said. So I feel like you need to find people that you can use as allies that will celebrate with you through this pressure period, right? People that really understand the extent of the pressure you're going through, what it actually means, right? Because they are the ones that can truly celebrate. They understand how much work it took you to actually achieve this one little thing. And other people might be like, oh, it's not a big deal. But they're like, heck yes, I knew you could do it. Way to go, right? Find your allies. And, wow, man. I heard your only ally is self-agency. I don't know. That doesn't make sense, but that's what I heard. Thank you, Mother. It's beautiful. All right. So just to sum that up, because I know that was a hot mess. Sorry. You're in the arena, okay? This pressure is a privilege. Your peace is on the way, and that peace can be found in the recovery period, right? You have a really long day, a hard day. Celebrate that day, because that day means you're making progress. That day means you're expanding. That day means you're going places in your life and you're doing new things, okay? Now that celebration can look like getting yourself a simple, little treat. Like there is a place here that has amazing cheesecake, okay? And so getting a piece of cheesecake to celebrate, taking a bubble bath to celebrate, going out with friends, having drinks to celebrate. Whatever celebration looks like for you. Maybe it's like buying yourself a new puzzle and doing a puzzle. Whatever that looks like for you. Be intentional. And in the few moments, I'm not saying you're going to have a lot of time between this pressure where you have this recovery, but every evening, even if it's just for 5 minutes, if you just sit in the quiet and you just say, I'm so thankful for this opportunity, for this privilege to expand me. I'm so thankful to be able to bear this weight, the privilege of this pressure, so that I can grow and I can help others learn how to grow, right? Thank you. All right, now we're going to move on to the crone. So from her, again, both the mother and the crone gave us the tower energy. So this destruction is really a big deal right now. This pressure is really a big deal, okay? But with the Page of Cups, again, we were talking about, the maiden gave us the King of Cups. Can I hold this? How the King of Cups is like the master of his emotions. He doesn't let them rule him. The Page of Cups is not there yet, right? He's still young. He is still in this childlike energy. He is still trying to learn how to manage those emotions. And I'm seeing here, I don't know if you can see this. Look, it's like he's very thirsty. So maybe you really need to focus on hydration right now. If you're doing some type of physical competition, because we did talk about being in the arena, make sure you're staying hydrated, yeah, okay. And if that's something else, another thing that came through with that was through this pressure, there are going to be intuitive hits that you're going to get. They're going to come through and they may seem small. Like you may seem like you're not getting them. It's almost like they're going to be barely there, barely visible. But it's your chance to use them as guidance, right? We talked about emotions as signposts. Use this period as a time where you can go from being this younger, I'm not really sure how to process it. Again, Joe Hudson is coming through very strongly. Go watch Joe Hudson's channel. I'll link him in the description for the replay. This is an opportunity to focus on there's going to be challenging emotions anytime you're going through intense pressure, intense change, intense chaos. But that is an opportunity for you to tap into yourself and be like, okay, well, what do I really want to feel? Being a student of what do I want to feel? Because the next card is the Nine of Cups. We're going to read this one from the guidebook. The Dark Reflections guidebook. It's phenomenal. Phenomenal. Can I speak? Apparently, I don't know how to speak anymore. It's been a pretty constant thing lately. Sorry, everybody. Okay. So the Nine of Cups is emotional satisfaction and abundance, which is the opposite of that ear pain, right? Which was unresolved emotional tension, resistance. So it indicates a time of contentment and fulfillment with one's desires. So our shadow traits to explore are incomplete versus complete. Yeah, again, I'm going back to like this work project. If you started something and you are hitting a brick wall because you're trying to implement too many things, I'm hearing you need to scale it back. You need to go back to simple is best. What worked before, you need to go back to that. It's not that you can't move forward, but because being in this chaos energy, this very, can I say that word? Tumultuous time, you need to go with what's traditionally worked for you, okay? So shadow traits. So if we were to have this card in the reverse, which we don't, but I love to talk about the shadow because it's part of the card, right? Unhappiness, lack of fulfillment, arrogance, underachievement. Again, with this incomplete versus complete. If you feel like you're not achieving what you want, I think it's a time to reevaluate, okay? Snobbery, unrealistic, overindulgence, false hope, and disappointment. Now, this is not how we got the card, but that's just, I wanted to read those. This is how we got the card in the upright. So we had finished doing something, aware of the good that can come. Again, you are in this pressure because the good is coming. This pressure is here to serve you. It's here to serve your growth. And while you're looking for your inner peace, and you're like, come on, where is my peace? I just want peace. You get to where you're just so desperate for peace. You can always be peace within, right? You can always be peace within. You can be that steady calmness in the eye of the storm. That can be you. You have to be intentional. You have to come within to find that space, right? And it starts with being satisfied. Stop looking outward, being satisfied and fully content where you are in the moment. Look right here, in the moment. Let's see, feeling joy, becoming optimistic, happiness and wishes coming true. All right, some questions you can ask yourself. Do you feel confident in yourself? I'm getting that was something you were really struggling with, because with the whole idea of being in the arena and not having people that aren't in the arena influence your decisions, use this pressure as a way to build self-trust. Be like, look, I have made it this many days on my own in this situation. I know what I'm doing, okay? What is your path to reaching gratitude and fulfillment? Yeah, that's another thing. We can't forget to continue to look at our map, right? We can't get lost in the pressure. We have to remind ourselves, okay, I am in this pressure for a season, or I am in this pressure until this project's done, or I'm in this pressure until we get to where we need to go. I'm in this pressure until we've worked through these situations, right? If you're working with a partner or a girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever it is. What can you do to create happiness? This is a good one, especially if you have ADHD. You know there are things that literally give you dopamine. You're like, oh, that makes me so happy. Use them to your advantage. Happiness can be created so easily, right? Especially if you're not that hard to please. you're hard to please, I don't know what to tell you. If you are a snob, like this thing said, I don't know what to tell you. But if you can get into the simple pleasures of life, it's a lot easier to stay happy. It's a lot easier to be content. And you can use those moments of content to be a source of recharge for you in this pressure period. Yeah, with the 10 of Wands, during this heavy period where it's like, I cannot handle the weight of this any longer. I need my inner peace. Yeah, it says, are you being patient with yourself and are you having false hope? Are you being patient with yourself, right? This period of pressure that you're going through where everything is so heavy and you just want to put it down. You just want to rest. You just want to sit in the stillness, in the quiet. Are you allowing yourself, not having false hope that this is going to magically disappear, right? We have to take responsibility for the situations in our lives. It's not always easy, but that's the only way to change it, right? Now, I'm not saying you're responsible for everything. That's another weight to bear. You're not. But you're responsible for how you respond in life, the actions you take in life, okay? But you don't have to carry everybody else's actions. You don't have to carry the weight of everybody else's decisions. In this period of pressure, in this period of pain, understand that the 10 is the end of that. You're about to put them down. Look how close you are to the gate. Look how close you are to the fire where you can just chuck them on the fire and be like, done. See you later. Hasta la vista. Are you going to Mexico? Maybe you need to go to Mexico. Have your little mini retreat to Mexico. Your inner peace is always found within, guys. And it's by connecting with yourself in these periods of pressure, in these periods of chaos, in these periods of destruction with the tower, that that you are able to find that peace, connect with that peace. And I would invite you to always connect with your breath. If you're having a hard time, breath is a great way to get back in touch with your body, get back in touch with this moment. Experience life. Be genuinely grateful for the experiences in your life. Can you look outside and find something to be thankful for? I guarantee you can. Okay? We're going to close out this message with one card from this vagus nerve deck to help us ground this into our bodies, to help us be able to bring this peace forward, bring this recovery, this intentional recovery forward. One card, please. This one. Brow Harmony. BL2, also known as, these words. Why is this so hard? Kwansu? I don't know. Can you see that? How do you say that word, people? I don't know. Is an acupressure point near the inner corner of your eyebrows, close to the nose bridge. People often rub this point naturally when they are tired. I guess here. Massaging BL2 can trigger the cranial nerves responsible for muscle control in the face, helping you relax. Okay, beginning with one side, find your BL2 located on the bony ridge at the inner end of the eyebrows, just above the bridge of your nose here. Use your index or middle finger to apply gentle pressure or circular massage motions. Continue to massage for 1 to 2 minutes, breathing deeply and relaxing. Repeat on the other side. All right. You see the picture? Can you see the picture? There you go. Brow Harmony, BL2. Massage your BL2s. You can do them both at the same time. All right. That made my eyebrows look funny. I'm such a child. All right. If anybody would like a personal reading, you can let me know in the chat and I will happily read for you. We have the Maiden, Mother, and Crone archetypes today. So if you do decide to have a personal reading, I will pull a card from each of the archetypes for you. But we don't have any viewers right now, so this may not be happening. It's okay. Oh, sorry I rambled so much on this one, friends. That was the energy today, right? All right. Well, it doesn't look like we have anybody coming on today. I really love doing personal readings. So if you guys would just like join me and let me read for you guys, if you're watching the replay, go join the channel. Like, get notified when I go live so I can read for you. Okay? All right. I just would like to remind you that on this channel, always come as you are and stay as you become. Bye, my friends.